This video is for educational and entertainment use only. The views in this video do not necessarily represent the views or life of Marlon Dixon.
Welcome back to the Duffle LO Sit Down channel. And today we're going to get into the Fed rate hike. We're going to get into mortgage rates. We're going to get into the unemployment rates. We're going to get into job stuff. And we're going to get into what's going on right now. So let me share my screen so I can show you guys what we're going to go over today. Okay, so this is the first article that we're going to go over today. Let me move myself out the way. Unemployment is falling fast, adding pressure for interest rate increases. And then we're going to do the job report, makes a March Fed rate hike nearly a done deal. Then we're going to show how mortgage rates surge, and it's just the beginning. And then we're going to show how foreclosures soared 94% from 1 year ago. So this is what's going on now. So first is this one. So let's get into the article by Gina Smiliak, January 7, 2022. Today's date is January 9th, so this is 2 days ago. New data showing that the unemployment rate is falling and wages are rising is expected to cement and maybe even hasten the Federal Reserve's plan to begin raising interest rates this year as it tries to put a lid on high inflation. As you guys know, the cost of everything has been up. Go to the store, look at the price of eggs, milk, and cheese and bread last year versus how it is right now. And you will see inflation is going up, rents is going up, mortgages going up, like every taxes is going up. Like inflation has been hitting a lot of people. The jobless rate fell to 3.9% in December based on data collected during a period that largely predated the worst of the Omicron-driven virus surge. So unemployment peaked at 14.8%, which means 14.8% of the country was not employed as of April 2020. And it had hovered around 3.5% for months before the onset of the pandemic. The fact that it is returning so rapidly to near normal levels has caused many central bankers to determine that the United States is nearing what they estimate to be full employment, even though millions of former employees have yet to return to the job market. So now think about that. They're saying that this is full employment, even though millions have not returned to the job market. So how can we be at full employment? Yeah, we close to the 3.5% that was unemployed before the pandemic. Now we at 3.9%. But how are we getting that full employment? Full employment means 100% of the population has a job or has a business or something that they're doing to earn income. But that's not what it is. This affirms the Fed's conclusion. This is a hot labor market. So now, as you guys can see, it's literally a lot of jobs that's open right now. Like when I say jobs is open, like people are literally not going to these jobs. Like they don't want to work. But signs abound that jobs are plentiful, but that workers are hard to find. Job openings are at elevated levels, and the share of people quitting their jobs just touched a record. Employers complain they are struggling to hire, and the shortfall of workers has caused many businesses to curtail hours or services. So now think about this, because what this is basically a setup. Little people know, but they'll figure it out in 8 to 12 months. You are quitting your job because they're giving you this unemployment. But when they stop the unemployment, then you go to go get a job, the job won't be there. Why? Because if these businesses have all these job openings and nobody's coming to work it, they're not going to be able to stay in business. They're going to have to eventually close down. So now there will be no job to go back to. You have to think ahead, not in the moment. As a result, employers have begun to pay more to retain their employees and lure in new applicants. That's what they got to do. Average hourly earnings climbed 4.7% in the year through December, faster than economists in a Bloomberg survey had expected, and much more quickly than the typical pace of progress before the pandemic, which oscillated around 3%. Now, even though you got your earnings climb 4.7%, inflation 6.8%. So you still 2.1% short on the inflation that's going on. And inflation actually is higher than 6.8%, but that's what they told everybody. But you got to understand, look at the PISA. The PISA went up 33%. I ain't gonna say the company. I want you guys to just figure that out. That's homework. Those quick pay gains are a signal to the Fed officials that people who want jobs and are available to work are generally able to find it. That the job market is what economists call tight and would-be workers are relatively scarce, and that wages might begin to feed into prices. When companies pay more, they may also charge their customers more to cover their costs. So do you see how everything is affecting everything? You're getting paid this unemployment, so you ain't working. Because you ain't working, it's hard for these businesses to find somebody to hire because you ain't working. Because it's hard for them to find somebody to hire, they have to hire who they hire and pay more and try to retain other people and bring in new applicants by upping the wages. When they up the wages, they have to up the prices of their products. Thus, this is feeding the inflation cycle, which inflation is already going up anyway. There's a couple statuses right here. More workers quit than ever. A record number of Americans, more than 4.5 million people, voluntarily left their jobs in November. This January, 4.5 million. So when they saying that the unemployed is going up, where's all these people at? Where they working at? How they earning a living? What are they doing? Like, think about that. The American economy added 210,000 jobs in November, a slowdown from the prior month. Now, 4.5 million quit voluntarily, and they added 210,000 jobs. But as you can see, nobody's trying to work none of these jobs. Analysis. The number of new jobs added in November was below expectations, but the report shows that the economy is on the right track. So some of these people is trying to have businesses. Why you can't have a business unless you got workers or a worker to work the business if you're not self-employed doing all the work yourself. Jobless claims plunge. Initial unemployment claims for the week ended November 20th fell to 199,000, their lowest point since 1969. Listen to this. Unemployment claims fell in November 20th to 199,000, but also in November, 4.5 million people quit their job. So if 4.5 million people quit their job and only 199,000 people went for unemployment claims, what is the other 4.3 million people doing? How are they earning a living? What is going on? Like, it doesn't make any sense. Some Fed officials are worried that the rise in wages and limited production could help sustain elevated inflation, now at nearly a 40-year high. Everything is going up. What they say, when it's up, it's stuck. Y'all better understand why they told y'all to start saying that. The combination of a healing job market and the threat that price increases will jump out of control has prompted central bankers to speed up their plans to withdraw policy help from the economy. With the prices being so high of everything, they have to raise interest rates because the money is being given out at such low interest rates that people are able to go get the money. But guess who's getting the money? The rich is getting the money. Once they raise everything up, people are going to be you're not going to be able to buy anything because your money ain't going to stretch you. Look at my old video when I just told y'all the other week. Americans in 2022 are going to deplete their savings. You guys have to understand how to connect all these dots. Fed officials are already slowing the big bond purchases they have been using to support the economy. Look, they already slowing this down. So if they doing this to support the economy and they stop it, what you think gonna happen with the economy? It's gonna go down, and the prices of everything gonna go up. But if you ain't got no money and ain't no jobs out there because you ain't want to go get that job, so the company end up shut down. Now everything going up, you need to go get the job, but the job ain't there. How you supposed to take care of yourself? In addition to that, they could raise rates three times in 20, 3 times. March, they said they already talk about March is the first time. They probably raise it every quarter, March, June, September. Better know the quarters. In addition to that, they could raise rates 3 times 22 based on their estimates, and economists think those increases could begin as soon as March. That would make borrowing for cars, houses, and business expansions more expensive, slowing spending, hiring, and growth. Y'all already want these jobs. And now once they raise these rates, now it's going to be harder for these companies to grow because the interest rates is growing too much. Now I want you guys to follow me right here. So I got to add this video in so I can show you guys exactly what it is, what I'm doing. So what I'm doing is I'm going to my trusty calculator that I calculate with my real estate. So I'm gonna show you. The first thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna show you guys $100,000 property value, or let's just say $100,000 borrowed. And it's gonna be borrowed at 8.5%. 30-year fixed rate, and look at the payment. $768. Now let's do that same 100,000. And then this time what we're gonna do is we're gonna put in the 3.22%. Same 360 months, 30-year fixed, $433. That's the difference in your interest rate. When your interest rate is low, your payment is low. The higher the interest rate, the more you pay. But at the end of the video, I'm gonna fill this out. So that right there will be filled out. I'll take a picture of it, put it at the end of the video, where I'm gonna show you how much with those calculations you'll be paying monthly, yearly, and how much at the end of the entire loan. But back to this. It makes sense to get going sooner rather than later, James Bullard, president of the Federal Reserve Bank of St. Louis, said during a call with reporters on Thursday, suggesting that the moves could come very soon. They probably not waiting to March. They probably gonna pop this out in February. Happy what? What's it called? What is it? See, look, I don't really be celebrating these holidays. So what is it? Black History Month. Happy Black History. Way to raise the rates, and a lot of people gonna be screwed. I think March will be a definite possibility, but that don't mean that it ain't possibly sooner. And officials have signaled that once rate increases start, they could promptly begin to shrink their balance sheet, which means now they dumping stuff. Where they hold the bonds they have purchased to stoke growth throughout the pandemic downturn. Doing that would help to lift longer-term interest rates, reinforce the rate increases, and helping to further slow lending and spending. People not going to be able to have no money, so they ain't going to be able to spend nothing. Economists speculated after the jobs report that the new figures made an imminent rate increase even more likely, and that the central bank might even be prodded to remove its economic support more quickly as wages take off. So now we ain't buying no more bonds. Since they ain't buying no bonds, they ain't gonna be able to hold the economy up. A lot of stuff is gonna start tanking. The crypto tanking right now, the stocks tanking right now, the housing gonna tank, everything gonna, a lot of the assets gonna tank, but the price of a lot of stuff gonna go up. It is going to be very interesting in this year, I'm telling you. We think that today's report adds to the case for the Fed to kick off its hiking cycle in March. Researchers at Bank of America wrote, the economy appears to be operating below maximum employment and inflation remains sticky high. Krishna, an economist of Evercore ISI, argued that the combination of rapid decline in unemployment and heady wages might even prompt central banks to increase interest rates faster than once every 3 months. The fastest pace in their last set of interest rate increases, which took place from 2015 to 2018. The Fed might end up having a hike at a pace faster than the baseline one hike per quarter. I just told y'all, March, June, September, that's one hike per quarter. They said it might end up having a hike at a pace faster than one hike per quarter. So they tell me they might hike it 3 times, when in reality, it might be more than 3. First data out next week could further intensify that pressure. The consumer price index is expected to surge to 7% in the year through December, based on Bloomberg survey of the economists, which would be fastest pace in the increase since June 1982. Y'all got to get these years. This stuff, it's going to be a change. The White House is doing what it can to promote competition, disentangle supply chains, and lower prices at the margin, but controlling inflation falls mainly on the Fed, a fact President Biden underlined at a news conference on Friday. I'm confident the Federal Reserve will act to achieve their dual goals of full employment and stable prices and make sure the price increases do not become entrenched over the long term, Mr. Biden said. Investors will get a chance to hear from key Fed officials themselves next week. Jerome H. Powell, whom Mr. Biden has renominated as Fed chair, has confirmed hearing on Tuesday before the Senate Banking Committee. Lael Brainerd, now a Fed governor and Mr. Biden's pick to be vice chair, has a hearing on Thursday. So these people talking about this stuff, but he the president and he's saying, the price of this inflation stuff, it's on him. It's on them. I hired him, but it depends on what they want to do. Both are likely to emphasize the unevenness of the recovery and acknowledge that millions of workers remain out of the job market thanks to caregiving responsibilities, virus fears, and other pandemic barriers as they have throughout the downturn. You see this? Workers remain out of the job market thanks to caregiving. This is going to be the boom. This is where the boom is going to happen. Why? Because more daycares is going to be needed because everybody going to be needing to get their kids watched. More caregivers like CNAs, nurses, all that stuff, medical assistants, all that stuff is what a boom going to happen, because when people start to get sick, they need these type of people to work. Right now, both of my girls are CNAs. They have a shortage of employees, so they get to pick more shifts. When they pick more shifts up, if they choose to do so, what they do is they give them a bonus. So now if you work an 8-hour shift, you get a $200 bonus. If you work a 4-hour shift, you get a $100 bonus. So now you work the 4 hours, you get paid for those 4 hours plus that $100 bonus. So now if these 4 hours is overtime, you get time and a half for those 4 hours plus that $100 bonus. So the money is out there, but people got to understand what to do with it, and people not understanding what to do. They will probably also note that overall hiring slowed in December. Employers added 199,000 jobs, the weakest performance all year, as they struggle to find workers. And Omicron poses a risk of further retrenchment because the November data came before the recent surge of virus cases that has kept restaurant diners at bay and shut down live performances. People can't do nothing, they can't move, you can't do nothing. But at the end of the day, it is a falling jobs rate that is likely to remain in the focus for the Fed as it contemplates its next steps, economists think. A March rate hike seems pretty likely at this stage, said Julia Coronado, founder of the research firm Macro Policy Perspectives. Asked if there was one overarching takeaway from the new data, she said it's just a tightening labor market. That's it. So that's it for that. But let's really think this through really fast. Like let's really think this through. I want you guys to understand this. Because people are not going to work, the prices of stuff is going up. People not going to work because they is getting unemployment. But you seen how many people filed unemployment. So if those little many of people file unemployment, what are these other 4.3 million people earning they living at? Where they earning is living at? So the numbers don't even make no sense at all. That's what you got to look for. You have to put 2 and 2 together. But I'm gonna end it with this. I'm gonna fill this out, put the picture at the end of the video. Hopefully you guys learn something, understand. If it's a job out there hiring right now, I understand that you don't want to work because it's stuff going on, people getting sick, all this and all that. But if you can go work this job without getting yourself sick, I would advise you to go get a job. So when these businesses start laying off, it ain't gonna be you. Because when they start cutting jobs, they cutting jobs that people ain't feeling already anyway. But if you are in the job, they might move you up because you stay here. You work through the pandemic. You go a bonus, you go this, you go whatever. But these people that want to sit home and they got these people in fear and sitting at home, they better figure out a way to make some money, because if they don't, the price of everything gonna go up and they gonna be bought out. And when they bought out, it's gonna be a lot of homeless people, because we're gonna get into the foreclosures pretty soon. So that's all I gotta say for this video, you guys. Like I said, prosper through the adversity. Please, please, please don't underestimate family, friends, lovers, enemies. Look at them objectively. No matter what city, state, or country is in, every hood is the same. If nobody told you they love you today, I'm telling you right now, I love you guys. See you guys on the next episode.
This video is for educational and entertainment use only. The views in this video do not necessarily represent the views or life of Marlon Dixon.